Hey, let's ask the question to a man who knows a lot of stuff about all sports, not just baseball. He is the baseball coach at BYU, Mike Littlewood. But you're in on college basketball. You're in on college athletics, college football. What's the most winnable September game for BYU football next year? It's Nebraska, Boise State at home, UCLA, Michigan.
I got to say Boise State at home. Just for me, not knowing really anything about BYU football insider, I would just say the first game at home is going to be – it's tough to win on the road. It really is tough to win on the road in college athletics. We've talked about this a little bit before. When you get young kids, 18 to 22, and BYU 24, 26, whatever, it's just a new experience for them. You get into pro ball, whatever it is, baseball, basketball, football, whatever it is, I don't think the road means as much. The guys are more mature. They're used to just go out and play them. But when you get a college student and you take them on the road in that environment, especially baseball, maybe not as big a deal. It's still a big deal, but there's only a lot of times 500 people in the stands. But when there's what's there going to be the first game? 80, 100,000 fans in the stands?
I think there are 80. I think Nebraska Stadium holds like 88,000.
That's a little different.
And it will be sold out.
Yeah, and so it takes a little bit especially for freshmen and sophomore, to get over that kind of thing. But hey, I'll be pulling for them all the way.
We had Kyle Dean on the show yesterday. He made news this week when he said, "Hey, my advisor has talked to Major League Baseball teams, and I'm going to go to BYU." When did he tell you, and what was your reaction?
Well, it was the Sunday after we played Loyola Marymount, and on the Monday we played Cal State Northridge, and on that Sunday I drove up with Danny, my wife, to go up and see Marcus play in Bakersfield, and on the way there is when he called me, and I just plugged in the earpiece, and I'm like, I hope this is the call that that we expect, and that's when he did, and he said, I'll come as long as I have number 7. Yeah. So I'm going in my mind, Parker's number 7, he's a senior, and I'm like, oh yeah, you can have any number you want, just knowing that 7 was his number, and knowing Parker was gonna leave, 7 was open. I'm like, yeah, that's good. It might be too small for you, but yeah, we can put 7 on an XL. We're good to do that.
Bushman will make it happen.
Yeah, Steve can make it happen.
We like the number 7. And speaking of young guys and hoping to, have him make an impact on your program, whether at home or on the road, what kind of an impact do you expect from Kyle Dean in his freshman campaign?
Well, we expect him to have an immediate impact, no doubt about it. I don't know if he's going to hit 3 for us or 4 or 6 or 7. We don't really know that yet. We know his potential, where he can. I mean, he's a potential 3 hitter for us. The thing we need to be careful of with him is not to put too much pressure and think that he's going to be the saving grace of our program and take us to the next level. He'll help us do that, but he's going to be surrounded by a lot of good players, Tanner Chauncey and Hayden Nielsen and Brennan Lund and Eric Urey and Bronson Larson. You go on and on and on.
Bring back a core.
Yeah, there's a core. So he's not going to – hopefully he doesn't feel the pressure like, I have to do this. Plus a lot of great kids coming in. Danny Jelilich, who's a brother of Pepperdine's center fielder, and his oldest brother was first-round draft pick in pro ball right now. Good bloodlines right there. Keaton Kringland. I mean, we just have we have 12 new guys coming in, 3 or 4 in the outfield. So Kyle knows he's going to have to come in and earn a spot, just like everybody else is. But, we think he's got great potential, and we just need to be careful, like, not put all the pressure on Kyle Dean. You have to do this all for us, because our returners are going to be great to help him out and just help him understand. Just go have good at-bats, do what you're going to do, go play and settle in and help us that way.
Major League Baseball Draft, Day 3, final day underway, rounds 11 through 40. In the middle of round 12 right now, I've got it pulled up. Whose name do you expect to possibly be called today from BYU?
Well, Colton will be drafted today, Mahoney. And in my mind, I was thinking probably rounds 12 to 15 for him. That's maybe 10. And I was hoping somebody might, because it only takes one team out of 30 to pull the trigger early and take him in the 5th or 6th round. I was hoping that would happen. But we didn't see a whole lot of cross-checkers or scouting directors come in late, and that's when you know that he's going to be a top 5 round guy. There was a lot of buzz around like Jacob Hanneman when he was a 3rd-round pick. So he'll get drafted today, and I think he'll probably take the offer and get out and go. But we're pulling for him. I know I've had a couple calls about Dylan Robinson. He wants to go play, which kind of changed a little bit. He's got great job offers. He's a smart kid. But I think he wants to still play. And if a team, the 4 or 5 teams that I've talked to about Dylan said if they have a roster spot they need to fill in rookie ball or low A maybe, that they'll take Dylan and give him a shot. So I'm hoping he gets a shot as well.
Is there any chance that let's say Colton, and we certainly don't hope this happens, but if he drops down to where he was drafted last year, early 20s, late teens, is there any shot that he would come back for one more year at BYU?
I think it's slim. It depends on anything past the 10th round, and this is a generalization because they can change some things a little bit, and the major league teams can. But the 11th round on, you're really not going to get offered more than $100,000. If they do, they get taxed really heavily on that, and it comes out of their bonus next year. There's a lot of different things that happen there. So I think if he gets that, he'll probably sign. But if somebody tries to cut that in half, he's probably going to think about it just a little bit. I would expect him to sign. I think there's a 5% chance that he comes back to BYU. He's ready. He's a little bit older. He's a mature kid. The one thing he needs to do, and he knows this, he's got to command his pitches. And I think that's what guys are scared of. They love his makeup. They love his body. They love his upside. But the ability to command his pitches week to week, which is so important in pro ball, you have to throw the ball where you want to throw it. That's probably the biggest concern right now, why guys are probably holding off just a little bit.
Let's talk hoops for a minute. As a former official, there were some major rule changes that were approved 2 days ago. 30-second shot clock, restricted area increase, media timeouts change. How much as a ref do these kind of rule changes affect you in the offseason, your preparation going into a season for these officials?
I mean, they hit it hard. When the new rules, they hit hard all through the summer. And there's a lot of training that goes into, I mean, most referees now are either going to camps in the summer or they're counselors in a camp. So I would go 3 or 4 weeks out of the summer and teach in camps, whether it's a PAC or the Big 12 or whatever it was. And if you're trying to get into it or you're just new into college basketball as a referee, you have to attend those camps. And so there's a lot going on. The biggest change here is the restricted area. We always talked about, let's make it uniform between the NBA and college basketball with that restricted area, because we felt as referees that restricted area is right under the basket. And it just didn't, I mean, it went out just a little bit, but it didn't really have a big impact. And it was a really hard call to make. If you put it out where the NBA is, it's just a little bit more extended. It's more of a defined line when a guy's going to step in there or not. And it's just a much easier call. That was a big transition for college referees, because the center official or the guy who's on the side that's free throw line extended, he's the guy that kind of had to help the lead official who's underneath, because your eyes as a lead official tend to be waist high and up. And so to see if his feet are in the restricted area is a really, really tough call for a baseline referee, or it's called the lead referee.
Former NCAA basketball official, did a couple of Sweet 16s, Mike Littlewood, and now current BYU baseball coach with us in Studio B. Let's end with this. Can you watch a basketball game and not be an armchair ref?
No. It's funny. I'll be watching it, whether Danny's with me or whoever's with me. I'll just like say something like I'm talking to somebody and they're listening. I'll say something like, I'll always say that's a horrible call or whatever. But my biggest thing is he's not even in position to see that play. That's the biggest, because that's all we talked about as a referees. You got to be in position. If you're in position and you have even a little bit of a clue on what a play is, you're going to get the call right most of the time. But you'll see a lot of referees guess, and that's my biggest thing. He's not even in position, and nobody's listening. I look around, nobody's listening to me anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I do the same thing with producing. I'm like, put the graphic and take it out, replay. Well, why'd you pick that angle?
You're not even in position to use that graphic.
Come on.
Mike, great to have you in studio.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, miss you guys. Yeah, took a week off. Thanks.
Hey, we're looking forward to what's approaching the next baseball season. Can't wait.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Missed you too.